The big skin update has dropped. We got new skins, a new case, new stickers, and these brand new charms. Unfortunately, a new challenge has appeared. Accounts continue to get banned from using certain sites. So let's look at which sites have done a good job of capturing the markets that Buff has left behind, which sites are the easiest for cashing out, and which sites will not get your items permanently banned. You likely clicked this video to see how people are getting banned trying to buy and potentially sell skins, so how about we just get right into it. Although there's always a story of no wrongdoing whenever one of these bans goes public, one thing remains the same. It's always discovered that the individual had some type of relationship with a gambling site. Now this was known by many before. These bans have been happening since the Monarch vs CSGO role drama arc, and could have been happening before then too. Is it guaranteed to get banned using these sites? Absolutely not. But you do run the risk of getting your accounts banned. That's just how Valve's loose and ambiguous relationship with gambling makes it hard for us to understand their intentions. What I find really interesting though is what could be called proxy bans. There was recently a fairly well-known trader that was banned, seemingly without any real reason. It was later discovered that he used Waxpeer. Now Waxpeer on its own doesn't seem like a problematic site, but what we don't see is how essentially the entire site is funded by bots from gambling websites. So although you are using a website that does not contain any gambling, you are almost purely buying items from gambling sites, and Valve can ban you for that. Included in this is Market CSGO, which shouldn't be overly surprising if you've seen some of the conversations around this site in the past. And ShadowPay is also one of the problematic sites. This is one of the issues with picking non-mainstream sites for potentially better prices or better rates. Outside of straight up getting scammed, it is a risk of getting your entire account banned. These are the sites that I am aware of from seeing tweets on my timeline, but there may be others out there, and I have been cautious about using any site that isn't well known without a good reputation. But not every site offers these same services at the same prices with the same security. Just as a precursor, as we are in the Counter-Strike community and scummier things have happened, I have turned down multiple sponsors in the 2 weeks since I've returned to YouTube. I don't need to suck off any of these sites for a few bucks. I work a pretty good full-time job. And with that out of the way, we can look at mainstream websites that pose minimal risk to the user. With Buff163 restricting access to non-Chinese users, and rumors of UPin restricting users just recently, we have been completely shut out of the Chinese market. Emerging from this chaos, it seems like Float has cornered a good portion of the demand. CS Float has been around for years. What used to mainly be a site famous for finding the history of items and quantities has now emerged as one of the largest markets in Counter-Strike. Float focused on creating a hub for unique items in the game, so if you're looking for a play skin with unique sticker combos, crazy float values, unique patterns, or low supply items, this website has been catered towards that. But nowadays with Buff gone, the site has expanded. So if you're looking for bulk items like cases or stickers, there is a large supply listed, making it a pretty good site for offloading or purchasing investments. What really gives Float one of the top spots in the current markets is a really solid system for cashing out, low sales fee, and a low withdrawal fee. At the end of the day, the site that you use is heavily dependent on how hard the fees hit, and Float is very generous with how low the fees are. One site that I have a pretty extensive personal history with is GamerPay. GamerPay was on the ball trying to gain market share when Buff went down. They did drastically reduce the fees, but liquidity on the site is still well below Float and some others. I personally have just had an easier time navigating a large variety of items, and the Buff price comparison is very useful as it makes it quite easy to tell if a price is respectable or not. My main vouch for this site is that I cashed out over $3,000 to pay for some vehicle modifications a few months ago. With some of these sites running low fees and operating out of tax haven countries, I worry what my bank would think without routing it through crypto first. When I received the bank transfer from GamerPay, it was in euros, and it clearly said which company it was from. GamerPay may be lacking in terms of liquidity, but buff prices, right in your face when browsing, and the ease of cashing out has made it one of my most used sites in recent years. And my personal experiences with the team working there has been positive. For cashing out, these are probably my top two. They corner a good section of the market and have a positive reception among the trading community. Now for something a little bit strange. Buff Market. Yes, Buff163 is gone, but they do have a website and a mobile app available to non-Chinese users called Buff Market. Now I honestly have a hard time understanding why Buff Market didn't instantly take over when Buff163 closed the doors to us. It still offers all of the great features, like applied sticker searching, 3D view of skins without even opening the game, easy to find skins with stickers, and a wear that is presented instantly, an easy way to compare prices for different wares, stat track, not stat track, or souvenir, sale history for individual items, float searches, price trends. I could go on, but if you have used Buff163, it's Buff163. To me, Buff has been and always will be the pinnacle of what a marketplace should look like. I don't want to go through all the pet peeves I have with other sites, but any other market in this video lacks a feature or multiple features that Buff has. Maybe it was the inflated prices that existed while Buff163 was still accessible to us, but following its closure, Buff Markets had an increase in traffic, and now prices have come down to a respectable level. And the fees are also comparable to other sites. But as of today, Buff Markets is not the clear-cut go-to site. And another site that has been around for many years that you have likely heard of is Skinport. Use this link, but I never said that. Another very secure site with an easy-to-use UI, good cash-out options, and what would be a highly subjective suggested price, as nearly nothing on this site will sell at the suggested price unless it has a reason for overpay. One feature that I think other sites could learn from is how easy it is to search for specific stickers, collections, and patterns. Despite the nice things I have to say about using this site, it has and always will fall behind other markets due to the fees. 12% for low tier and 6% for high tier is miles above other sites. Due to this, my relationship with Skinport is mostly purchasing. I have sold items on Skinport before, like some Katowice 2014 stickers and a print stream, but that was done during market swings where I could list it high enough to offset the fees. Another downside as of today is their use of bots. Due to the peer-to-peer restriction loopholes, it is commonplace to list a skin without it ever leaving your inventory. That gives you the added feature of listing on multiple sites at once. When listing on Skinport, you have to trade to a bot, therefore it is locked into Skinport and Skinport alone. Why I say right now though, is that another extension of peer-to-peer restrictions would make Skinport one of the only functional sites like it did in the past. But as of today, that is not a concern, and I hope it never is. Although I enjoy browsing Skinport and my personal experience with them is positive, there are some barriers that make it difficult to utilize their services. Can you trust Zipple? Yes. Skinbid has shared ownership between Zipple and OniPixel. They would be insanely stupid to throw away their careers just for a few $1,000s of items. But the one stark difference between Skinbid and Float compared to other sites is their auction features. I personally have never been a big auction guy, but you can guarantee a sale in a couple of days. And typically when I see people complain about an auction ending too low, it's usually around that 80 to 85% market range. Honestly, if you need to sell an item fast, and you don't want to use a cash trader, auctions are one of your best options, especially in the current market with the current state of CS2. It can be a multiple week or multiple month waiting game just to sell an item at a reasonable price. Unfortunately, Skinbid suffers from the same fate as Skinport with their high fees. Are they trying to take a massive cut and make their employees and owners filthy rich? No. This is what it looks like to run a legitimate business in the CS scene, actually operating out of the region that they are registered in, and scam protection. Those are the services that you pay for with these fees. Personally, for me, it exists in a gray zone, where if I had to use the market, I'd rather use something with lower fees. And if I had to sell something fast, I personally would use a cash trader over an auction. But not everyone trusts or even knows how to do a cash trade, and SkinBid is a safe way to avoid those concerns. And that basically concludes all of these services that I would trust and recommend to others. For some of the sites that I have not covered, DMarket has a dodgy rep in general, and there was that one situation. They aren't running a scam, they do offer a legitimate skin market, but there is a reason why a vast number of traders avoid using DMarket. I personally have had a payment taken from me when I was trying to buy a skin. It went through on the second payment, and I got out without losing too much as it was a cheap item, but support wasn't very supportive. I don't know what issues they are running into, but they need to find solutions before I would tell anyone to deposit money or sell a skin. Not getting refunds from trade offers and deposits timing out is a massive issue. Halo skins I personally have never even used. Waxpeer can get you banned. Skin Baron is trusted, but with the fees and lack of liquidity, I don't see any strong reason to use them over others. And I have no quarrels with Bitskins, they just function like many of the other sites listed, but with less liquidity. And I have to mention trading sites because they seem to be so popular. If you can wait a couple days instead of an instant trade, you can utilize the auction features of Float and Skin Bid. People are actually utilizing auctions these days. Even illiquid items can fetch a reasonable price. In my eyes, trading sites should be a thing of the past, unless you feel like throwing 30% of your skin's value out of the window. I have mentioned the sponsorships I've received earlier in this video. Of the 4 sites that approached me, all 4 of them were trading sites. Does it not seem strange that these sites have so much money to throw around that they will gamble on a small channel? If you look at how much they will offer for your skin and how much it costs to buy back, it should become pretty clear how valuable one individual user is. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at purchasing skins, the real site to use would be Price Empire or csgoskins.gg. As you can see, there are a ton of markets that are trusted, and with that, prices can vary between these markets. By using one of these services, you can browse and see who is giving you the best deal. Unfortunately, some of these sites that I would never touch are listed here. Regardless, you can still look at the markets and compare their prices, even if the number one option is problematic. All that's info about website design and search options and liquidity. They all mean nothing if you just compare the marketplaces, click the direct link, and buy the skin. There isn't one market in CS that will always have the lowest price. There isn't one market in CS that will always have the highest quantity available. You can pick your favorites, but at the end of the day, the best deal is the best deal. It doesn't matter what site it's on, as long as you know the skin will be in your inventory when it's all said and done.